Hey folks, Jonathan again. Going to give you a little update, not much of an update, mostly just going to give you some info on the Ford Falcon, but I wanted to show you what I was up to here with the pedals and everything on the 55 Chevrolet. As you can see, I come down here and this old 60 Ford, 59 Ford, I think this one's actually a 59, you can see the floors are gone and stuff. This was the parts truck for the rat rod build. Somebody had actually cut the frame and done something there, I think maybe on the steering, and they had a Chevrolet motor bolted in it. And like I said, I wanted the clutch pedal and the brake pedals out of it, that way I can go ahead and put the master cylinders on the firewall on our Chevrolet. Somebody had already put an automatic in this one. That's an old, I don't know what's it say on it. It's a Hearst India, I guess, but or they welded that on an old, probably a Spark-O-Matic shifter. You know, there's no lockouts on them, so they're kind of a dangerous shifter for an automatic. You can go into reverse really easy. But I went ahead and just cut the whole section out, and then I took it loose from the firewall at the bottom and with the bracket, and I'm going to show you that. That's what we're planning to put in the Chevrolet. That way we can run the clutch master cylinder, brake master cylinder, and everything on the firewall. Okay folks, here's our pedal assembly, just like I took it out. And I wanted the firewall too, that way, you know, even if I don't use it, I can have this as a pattern to put the same shape on my my firewall on my Chevrolet, and then you know, bolt the brackets in. Bracket actually bolts to it; it's not welded. And somebody, because they put that automatic in this thing, had cut the clutch pedal off, but the rod and everything's still there, so it's not a problem. I can make one and add to it. So. But I think it's going to work out really good. We'll get it in there, and the steering will come in between the two, of course, and shouldn't be too bad to set up. And that way we can have the swinging pedals instead of the ones coming through the floor. And you know, there's about a million different ways of doing that, but you know, this is what we're going to use. And I want to show you a couple things on the Ford Falcon. Okay, I've been doing just a little bit of cleaning up. I, you know, took a few things off the fender well and such that we didn't need. The coil that was hanging on there. We're going to redo the brake lines on this, and of course new master cylinder, everything. I'm going to check these hoses out. They go into the firewall before they hook to the heater core. That's kind of odd, but we're going to get up under the dash and check that. I hadn't cleaned anything out of the inside of the car, so you know, I want to do a little on that before I go too far. And I've got to put some more paint on it. I just sprayed over it, but you know, I'm not making it perfect. I'm just trying to make it all one color there. And but here's what I wanted to tell you about this thing. 63.5 is when this was made and after, and it did have a 260 V8. And the thing about these cars are there's no way to tell the difference between a Sprint and a non-Sprint using either the warranty number, which is what's on the door, or the VIN number, which is what's right here. Now, there's a few little things on these, and you know, I'd done some research on it, studying up on it, because I was trying to figure out for sure whether it was or wasn't a Sprint. And you know, just for the pure fact I didn't want to, you know, be telling tales out of school or anything. This, to my knowledge, is not a Sprint, and it is a two-door hardtop, but there's a few little things that give it away, and it has nothing to do with the numbers. One thing is this side trim. It's my understanding that this side trim was not painted inside, and this could have either been painted red or black, and this was painted black, and on the Sprint it wouldn't have been painted. There would have been emblems on the front that said V8 and Sprint. Now this thing had emblems originally. I don't know what emblems they were. This right here is another dead giveaway. Of course it says Futuro instead of saying Sprint. And back here, now the holes are covered, but on a Sprint it would have said Falcon. It would have had an F. You know, they're all spread apart. And on a Futuro like this is, it would have had Futuro across the back instead of Falcon. And I'm pretty sure that this is a, you know, like I said, just a Futuro. Now the emblem's missing on this side. The Sprint would have had the tack on the dash. I didn't see any place where the tack was actually on the dash, because they put them in the center. And the other thing is the glove box door. It would have had Sprint there instead of having Futura. So, you know, best of my knowledge, and I'm almost, you know, certain on this vehicle that it's not a Sprint. And, you know, there wasn't a lot of differences, and it's not really going to make any differences anyway, because this is not an original engine car. It's not an original car. There's, you know, I don't have the engine. Don't plan on putting a 260 back in it anyway. Honestly, the rear end's been moved. It's got a different rear, and to me, I mean, being a poor boy, I guess you could say, numbers mean nothing. And the reason I say that, it's sort of like, just because somebody is, let's just say from royalty, or let's just say somebody's from the Rockefeller family, to me it don't make them a better person. And no different than this car. You know, it even if it's not a Sprint, you know, it don't matter. You know, it's the same car, same condition, so what's the difference? So, I mean, it might be different when you're selling it, but, you know, I don't look at that. I'm just looking at, I'm going to sell it for what I think it's worth anyway. And, you know, how much work I've got involved and what kind of money I've got to put in it. So, you know, that really doesn't matter to me that much. And this car could easily be faked as a Sprint. They sell all the emblems on eBay, and like I said, there's no way of telling through the VIN numbers of what it is. And but I'm not one to do that. I wouldn't do it, and you know, I'm not going to do it. And you know, we're not going to put any paint on this thing or anything. But I wanted to show everybody that and explain to them why it wasn't a Sprint. And you know, I think the production number on the Sprints was a lot lower than these Falcons, even with the V8, the two-door V8. But really don't matter. I mean, not a big deal. Was my understanding this, you know, this thing could have came bucket seats or bench seat, and the Sprint could have came either way too, is my understanding, depending on how it was ordered. But under this padding on our dash pad, it should be hopefully a good solid dash, because that pad was actually something you could order separate and just have it put on. So I'm hoping that the good steel dash is under it. And we haven't, you know, begun to get on the inside of it yet. I did get the hinges freed up on it, took the springs off of them, and you know, we got quite a bit of wiring to do. And they even cut when they cut the wires off, they cut them off directly all the way up to the heater motor, so that kind of makes it a pain. But anyway, I'll quit rambling. I just wanted to let everybody know what the difference was between them, and like I said, you know, this I'm sure is not a Sprint. This is just a Futura, but makes no difference to me either way. All right, appreciate everybody watching. Till next time, bye.